Between Life and Death by Jaclyn. Chapter 55. I lost track of the days. They came and they went, just like the waves outside, lapping against the mountainside before they returned to the sea. Not that I had bothered to venture out to see said waves. Each morning, when the housemaids came in, they opened the balcony doors, allowing the sounds of outside to flow in. From this, I derived that the private chambers that I stayed in overlooked a body of water. I learned from the gossipy housemaids that I was in Clearwell Castle, and it most definitely had a rat infestation problem. Luckily, the rats did not bother me a whole lot. They were better than snakes. I shivered at the thought of the unnatural, limbless creatures. Involuntarily, I pictured the one Vaughn had tattooed on his beautiful, muscular bicep. Vaughn, I sighed, sinking lower into my numbness, and rolled on my side. The movement reminded me of the unyielding iron collar wrapped around my neck, reminding me that I was a prisoner. This one was different than the one they used in the forest, where that one was large and clunky, and fit with nails. This one was thin and small, designed for the neck of a woman or a child. More importantly, the inside was smooth. No rusty incisors. Despite their differences, they were both made of iron, and they both served one purpose: to tamp down my power and my spirit. Not that my spirit could get any lower. On more than one occasion, I wondered if my eyes had lost their ability to see color, because everything around me was gray. From the stone floor to the stone walls to the stone ceiling, all of it gray. Even the thick, heavy wolf pelt I lay under was gray. I nuzzled farther into the embrace of the two-plush bed. Peering over top of the soft as silk furs, I traced the vine carved into the bedpost pillar for the 16th time today. Okay, I lied. Not everything was gray. The pillar could almost be classified as an off-white. Was it made from white rosewood? I could probably tell if I got up and touched it. The problem with that? It required getting up. The arched wood door, inlaid with iron, swung open, birthing the last person I wanted to see. The deep red color of his jacket was jarring. I turned over and tugged the fur over my head. I preferred my world to stay gray. He walked over to my bedside, plucked something from the untouched food tray, and then tossed it back down. Judging by the sound, it sounded like metal striking a plate. It was probably a spoon, the only utensil they allowed in my room. I see you are still refusing to eat. You cannot die of starvation, goddess, but you will grow weak, Arkan said, the fur blanket doing little to muffle his voice. I didn't respond. I found that to be a foolproof policy. Over the past however many days it had been, we had done this quick meet and greet dozens of times. He strode in, said something about me getting up, or eating, or taking a bath. I didn't respond, and then he left. Wash, rinse, repeat. So I hunkered down like the little bed flea I had become, and waited for his departure. Something I would confirm by the sounds of the door shutting, and his boot heels fading down the hallway. Aurelia, we need to talk, Arkan said, his voice soft. I glowered under the dark of my sheets. I wanted to hear fading boot heels, damn it. We need to figure out why the Endless Mist refuses you. Ah yes, the Endless Mist. After Vaughn's death, Arkan marched me into the forest, straight to the Endless Mist. Not that I went willingly. I did, however, willingly touch it when he demanded I do so, hoping it would take me away from him. But nothing out of the ordinary happened. The ethereal voices asked who I was, to which I replied, the goddess of life. The voices then responded that I would need to return another time, like I had arrived 1 minute before they closed up shop for the day. Arkan was less than pleased that our trip to the Endless Mist had not been successful, muttering under his breath that we would try again later. The wee bit was laughable, like when a man cut off his partner who was talking about the birth of her child, and made it seem like he was the one who pushed it out of his dingle. Following our trip to the Endless Mist, Arkan allowed me to stop at the cottage to gather a few of my things. I found the offer odd, like he was trying to make amends for everything that happened earlier that day. Another laughable notion. Under his watchful gaze, I gathered a few of my things, but he didn't see the paper I found when I went up to the loft. There on my bed was a letter from Ezra, her print always surprisingly legible for someone who was blind. The letter explained that she would be away for a while, that she was returning to a place that filled her with hope. I knew what that meant. She was going to the Cursed Lands. A small portion of me felt a bit of relief. She would be out of harm's way for the time being. Arkan let out an audible sigh. Oh, for the Creator's sake, this is getting ridiculous. You are mourning the loss of a god who attempted to murder you on more than one occasion. Great divine, he was persistent today. I didn't reply. Just a bit longer and he would leave. The bedside, heaving as he sat down on the end. This was new. I didn't like it. Look, I get that all of this is a lot. You are very much in the infancy stage of your goddesshood right now. And you have hundreds of years of memories stowed away, ones you haven't even started to tap into. I can help you go through them, help you sort them, and make sense of them, if you would just open up to me. I pursed my lips, steadfast in my vow of silence. Fuck him, and the king's carriage he rode in. There is something I need to get off my chest. He stopped, took a deep breath. I rolled my eyes. Whoa, goody. That day in the bathhouse, you thought I was speaking of an old lover. I should have corrected you back then. I could hear his fingers comb through his hair. I realized I needed to tell you the truth when you said it. Again at the endless mist. Although I have felt moments of attraction towards you, you and I were never lovers. We were always just friends. We could have that again. Be friends with him? His not-so-little red head was delirious. He claimed it was ridiculous that I was mourning the loss of a god who apparently tried to murder me. What a hypocrite! Not only did he throw me in the endless mist, he also threatened my life with a crown of thorns and a hot, hungry pyre. Currently in the game of attempted murder, he was leading the score. I know we have gone over this many times, but I feel like I need to say it again. I never planned to take your life that day, but I had to make it look real. The god of death was the king of our enemies. He could have taken the living realm back from us at any given moment. I couldn't let that happen, so my hand was forced, and I had to use the thing that weakened him. Unfortunately, that was you, and I apologize for that, but like I said, when your memory returns, when you remember what he is, that he is the villain, then you will trust in what I did and understand why it had to be done. We had gone over this many times, from many different angles. It always fell on my purposefully deafened ears. Aurelia, please, you have to talk to me eventually. That was where he was wrong. I didn't. And I really wished he would stop calling me that name. It might have belonged to me in other lifetimes. But right now, all I wanted to be was just plain old Sage. Fine, he stated bluntly. The bed groaned, telling me he was on his feet, on his way out. Mentally, I waved a flag in victory. I have business in the countryside. I will return in a week's time. When I do, I hope we will finally be able to talk about things. The king is looking forward to seeing you. His boot heels sounded against the flagstone floor as he strode over to the door. Goodbye, Aurelia, and please, just eat something. Then I heard the sounds I had hoped to hear. The door shutting, followed by fading steps. Good riddance. I poked my head out from underneath the furs, thankful for the fresh air. Maybe I did need a bath. Forget it, that was too much work. Besides, I had more important things to do. I returned my gaze to the vine pillar, and started the task of tracing it for the 17th time that day.